All right, welcome to the Habitat Public Issue Triage for the week of February 13th, 2018. We're going to go ahead and jump in. I've actually posted the link that we're going to be using for the GitHub query into general in the Habitat Slack, so you can follow along there in your own browser if you'd like, or you can just watch the stream, and I'll actually go ahead and share that query in a browser as well, so we're good to go. So we've got 37 issues, it looks like. We're going to start with 4446. All right, yep, so this is an easy one. Most of the stuff that we open ourselves is going to be pretty easy. Let's go ahead and add that into accepted minor and put a web chore on there. Good to go. Easy. We can move on from there. 4455. I'll give everybody a second to read this.
Oh, this is actually by design. Yeah. So if you specify a registry type, then you have to specify a registry URL. I think is what he's talking about.
It looks like he is specifying a registry URL, but I don't know if it's like if docker.io is like a legitimate.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, I'm reasonably certain that that is not going to work, right? For a registry URL.
I don't know what I'd have to go.
If you look at the output file, it looks like it does a whole bunch of steps there, but then it's just the last part that's running Docker images. Just whatever is being passed into bin Docker. It's weird because Docker build works, I guess. The Docker images doesn't. So something is.
It's only when trying to push it out.
Yeah, it's not like Docker IO is the wrong thing here because the first part works.
It seems like to me. So it's after we've got an image is created. So the next thing it's doing is depositing it into the repo, but Docker IO.
So it's supposed to be index.docker.io/v1.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to leave a quick comment then and see if we can get that resolved.
Yeah, I think this is probably just, we could have a better experience around what the URL is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm inclined to close this out unless people see an actual bug here.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of I don't know. I think I'm the one that wrote this in, and this is sort of like a delicate touch point because if you like Docker is sort of a special case, like main Docker, but anyone else hosting like a container registry like has a different URL format. So if you try and pass like registry Docker and then the Docker URL, you're probably going to have a bad time. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We could add some more guards around this, I guess, to say like if you're specifying Docker and you think you're going to use docker.io, like try and do the right thing. That's about the only thing I can think of to do here is just try and remove the foot gun.
But I think we'd want another issue for that.
Yeah, probably so.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to 4476. I'll give everybody a second to read through this.
Yeah, I was looking at this yesterday. I think the core of the problem I probably fixed yesterday, stemming from hab service load not initially respecting packages that were already installed on the machine. So it would always go out to builder to grab something. So I don't know that we necessarily will need a special local flag for that now. I can go in and type more words to that effect on this issue.
The one thing strange is that the issue that we had encountered that I think you had fixed was only a recent change. But if you look at the issues here, like 4019, those were open quite a while ago. So yeah, I'd be good to double check that this scenario actually works.
Well, so yeah. So the question is this something that we are planning to fix? So this is a twofold issue, right? So there's the issue of needing to hab service load a heart file. I think as opposed to like locally a locally installed package, as opposed to just being able to hab service load, your origin package name and get by default the locally installed package. I think it used to behave that way. I don't know if that changed, but it definitely used to be that way. So I think that all that the actual issue that's being asked for here is that the ability to say, hey, don't reach out to builder at all. Like just check the cache. If it's in the cache, use it, and don't reach out.
Right, and as of yesterday, it does that.
Okay, perfect. So what I'll do now then is I'm just going to put this into accepted minor, and we can validate later if it actually completes this issue, since you're already writing the feature once that gets merged. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
And I can do the follow-up on that issue, so
Perfect.
we can continue on.
Sweet, let's move on to 3303. I would love it if we could get this closed out. Or accepted, or just actually triaged.
Can you scroll up just a second? Just a little bit. Okay, thanks.
So the issue here is specifically with the way that our determinism works with library linking. So the long and the short of it is, in Habitat, if you depend on a package that depends on a library, and your app also depends on that library, it will not be linked appropriately at build time in your build for your package if you don't also declare that library explicitly in your deps. We don't do any kind of traversing that transitive dependency path and linking those things for a number of reasons, at least initially. So this is like the second time I think that this has come up in the last year and a half where someone has said, hey, this is confusing. I think where we landed initially on it was, if your app depends on this tertiary library, then it should be declared as a dependency because you actually depend on it. You can't rely on that transitive connection to actually be there, because if package A that depends on package B that gets you the library you need gets changed and no longer depends on package B, then your builds will just no longer work. And that also gets obfuscated and kind of consumed by the system in a negative way. But I do think it does look like Adam actually did respond on this, and I haven't read his comment yet, so I'm going to read through that really quickly. But that's the long and the short of the issue. I think I tend to agree with Adam's analysis there, but it would be good to get some other voices in on this conversation if anybody has any opinions.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It seems like a trading off of upfront ease for down the road confusion and pain.
Yeah, bare minimum, a potential for it, right?
Yeah, I would rather make people understand more explicitly exactly what their dependencies are in the beginning, even if that takes more time getting set up to ensure like a more smooth operation down the road when your dependent packages dependencies change, because otherwise that could be like much more painful.
So this RFC, it's been open since September, so it's going on a number of months here. Is there any other alternative implementation that anybody could think about that might enable this without, like, is there some theoretical world where you could opt into with some kind of build time flag, say mapping those transitive depths into your LD run path, CPP flags, all that sort of thing?
Feel bad about being thumbs down on this change because I know it's bitten me before too. Before I like understood why and how, but like I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the idea of introducing branching logic into the way a program is compiled.
Yeah, I mean, and that branching logic is only there if we want to support both use cases.
Right. That's what I mean.
I think the nature of the experience today being that you need to explicitly define what libraries you're calling and not rely on transitive dependencies is we haven't had a huge number of people that have not preferred that, I guess. There have been a couple, but it's by and large not been it's been a pretty one-sided conversation, it feels like. So if nobody has any other feelings on it, we can leave it. But I mean, we've got a majority of the stakeholders on the call right now. How about we just can I get everybody to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this? No sideways thumbs, Elliot.
Oh, I thought we were gonna vote in a second. Hold on,
So thumbs up means
that we're willing to accept a change that enables our users to magically pull in their transitive depths into their LD run path, LD library path.
And the thumbs down is preserve the way that we have, possibly adding more documentation around the reasons and what to do.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yep. So I have thumbs down too. That's an overwhelming majority for anybody that's watching the stream or anybody that's just listening kind of passively. So we're gonna go ahead and close this one out finally. I'm gonna leave a quick comment on this, and of course, like this can be reevaluated at any time. If we get down the road and there are users that say like I absolutely have to have this in order to be productive, then we can come back to this and reevaluate. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and close it. So give me one moment to draft that up.
Can we get a follow-on issue to document the?
Yeah, that would be excellent. Would you be willing to draft that, CM?
Yeah. What is the issue number on this one?
3303.
Okay.
Can I also get everybody who's on the call to go out and do a review of this, just a quick code review, and add your red X so that we've got that documented as well?
Could you say that again?
If you can go out and do a code review of this issue, or I guess we can't do that on here, can you? Because it's not a PR. Usually, when you got an RFC, I was thinking of core plans where you'd have a PR attached. So yeah, just it's probably fine in that regard. Just ignore me.
I can go add a thumbs down to the original issue if you want.
No, that's okay.
I feel like that's sort of mean.
All right, another one done. Let's go ahead and move on. So the next one is going to be 3025. Talked about this one the last couple of weeks, but I'll give everybody a minute to catch up.
So at the end of the issue, I was left a little confused with Adam's comment about automatic port mapping and using a flag versus not using a flag.
Yeah.
Could we just assume that supplying a port of 0 is the flag and doing what Chris said and just having Habitat do the right? It seems like the underlying network code is doing the right thing by picking a port, but we're just not mapping it through to the config for Habitat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so long as you've got that initial peer that's sitting on the default ports so that you know what to peer to, then I would assume that's probably doable. Like
I think Elliot's just saying, like, given that the underlying network code could handle this, like, is it a question of putting a flag, or is the fact that you specify a port of 0 when things start up, is that your flag?
Yeah.
Right. So let's take a step back. Instead of thinking about implementation, is this a feature that we see value in accepting?
I'm like, well, I mean, I can see it being useful, especially if you're in a tight situation running multiple supervisors on a box that's being automatically provisioned, but I don't see it being a priority.
Yeah. So I mean, we could, if it's something that we would accept, then that's totally fine. We can put it into help wanted, and doing so, the implementation details don't really matter all that much, I guess. Like, assuming that the feature is something that we would want or would accept and is implemented in a way that we would accept, then that's all that we really need to know today. Personally, I'm all for having more ways that people can run Habitat, and if this unblocks ECS host mode, people that are doing ECS host mode, then I'm for it. And if that means putting it behind a flag, I don't really give a shit what the flag looks like. I just would like our users to be able to run Habitat in more places.
I can't think of a hard reason to reject it.
Thumbs up from me.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and put it in help wanted then for now. And I'll leave a quick comment that covers what we've just said here. Sweet, another one done. All right, let's go ahead and move on to 4493. And I'll give everybody a second to read through.
Is this like NixOS with the generate bin wrapper or something?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yep. And we've actually talked about this in the past, haven't we?
I think it's come up before, and I think we do need something like this, particularly with, you know, path and runtime environment handling that we've got now.
Yeah. So is this accepted minor?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm trying to think where this work would be. I guess it would. Some of it's probably plan build, and some of it's probably the CLI, right?
I think it's all CLI, actually.
Got it.
Because all the stuff that it would be pulling from is already in plan build. It just needs to read the metadata, write out a little wrapper script, and go on.
Sweet. Cool. 4494.
That seems like a bug.
I think maybe he was in general talking about this, and so I think what he's doing is running hab service load -- force over and over again with changing bindings.
That's it. That's what he's doing as the workaround. So the issue was that he was seeing is like if you get a new build of a package, and your new package requires bindings that your old package did not, it'll still get updated. Your service will just not be able to start.
Right. Okay. I mean, what would the expected behavior be?
The expected behavior would be like if something has changed in the requirements of your package, like when we start, we should look at what the current requirements are as opposed to the past requirements. And if they're still satisfied, then yay. But if not, then we should not start.
I mean, that's effectively what's happening, right? Is like the supervisor won't let the service start because the requisite binds aren't met.
This is reading oddly to me.
Yeah, I would. Some clarity here would be good.
So J is in general now, and and is watching the stream, I believe. So we could probably get some clarity from him. But if I recall, like the conversation before is like is there a way to notify in this specific state change when you go from you did not have required binds to now you do in an auto update strategy? Is there a way to notify that says we can't start because the bindings aren't met if you've just updated your package? Like, you want to make sure. I mean, the only other thing is like to see if the bindings exist available inside of the ring. Like if those services are there, those service groups are there, if it could just auto bind or something.
Well, if it's requiring new binds and they exist, if it doesn't already, like it should pick that up and carry on.
Oh, the behavior he wants is to not update the package if the binds aren't met.
Okay, so that is a bigger thing, I think.
I do think that makes sense from the perspective of like expected behavior, right? In some regards.
Yeah, it's like right now what we do is like if there's a new package, we bring it down, we download it, install it, and then restart the service. We would need to sort of introspect it first. Like before restarting, we need to introspect it and make sure that everything is still good, and then somehow notify you if it's not. And because of how we are always, we're running like whatever the latest package that satisfies what's in the service spec, we would have to do some sort of like remediation, like where we would remove that thing that we just downloaded, or otherwise change the behavior so that it doesn't just try to run that new package that it's downloaded like next time the supervisor restarts, you know?
Yep. So is this something that we would put in accepted minor?
Does seem like something that would be good to address, so yeah.
Cool, let's do it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to 4066. We did talk about this one on a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, I think. It'd be good to kind of talk about again. I know like I think everybody's kind of aware why this is the way that it is. I don't know if we have any conclusive data on what happens if that size limit increases much past that, or like where we hit where's the threshold in that item size, that file size.
I don't know where the absolute threshold will be, but depending on how big your ring is and how big your files are, like that could have a big impact on network traffic.
Yep.
Yeah, that said, I'd like to see the size go up as well, because these are legit cases, and providing this facility that's very useful. But 4K is just you have to do it right away. But I think it's a very reasonable ask.
Say that again, Salim. I think your audio is a little hard to hear.
Oh, sorry, guys. I just wanted to say that I think we should consider doing this, increasing the size.
Yeah. So I mean, we can. Do you think we should we just put this into accepted minor for now and evaluate like what is a reasonable threshold? I do think. Yeah. I mean, Chris's point is an important one, which is like we have to keep the threshold low enough that anybody who's running a very large cluster is not impacted would not be impacted by a file upload like that if the file is too big, at least the network traffic or whatever. I mean, but I don't know how we would figure out what that looks like and without actually doing some testing of the thing. So either way, it seems like maybe this should go into accepted minor.
The thing is, our other configs don't have this limit, right? So you could put stuff in the regular configs and not hit the limit.
But can
So
you take
it's the same argument.
Can you take an untemplated binary file and put it in the config directory and have it actually write out?
No, you couldn't, but I'm sure you could create a lot of different, config values that
He's
just
saying you could
exceed that size.
Yeah, you could put information in a config rumor and just like template it out, and then you've got a bad workaround. But yeah, that is a good point.
Cool. Well, then I guess we'll put this one in accepted minor for now. I would assume this is not the kind of thing that a community member is going to probably be able to, or maybe want to test and do themselves.
Likely not.
It seems like an easy change. It's just a const, right?
Done.
Yeah, a simple change that has wide-reaching effects.
Famous buzzwords.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just double the ring size.
Cool. Let's move on to 4496. This will be the last one we do this week. Anybody seen this before?
I have not.
No.
It seems like a
Although, also this is from OSX.
That he's in a studio.
Yeah, okay, I didn't catch that. Yeah, I see it now. What is? I thought you needed the fully qualified package name.
I was just noticing that you at least need to have a origin and name.
Yeah.
That just looks like a name. I wonder if
It,
that's being said. I'm kind of surprised that that doesn't get caught
Yeah.
in the flow if that's what's going on.
Is that the hyphen there doing something to mess with the way we're handling that origin?
No, there's nothing in the parsing that should be affected by a hyphen. I'm surprised that it's getting this far without having caught that, though.
I wonder if we're picking up the origin automatically from the have origin environment variable and trying to guess.
I don't believe we are there.
Yeah, I've never seen that as a behavior. Well, I think this is a real bug. The error being shown here may be a red herring, but this is definitely a bug. This should never work.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, let's make it a bug.
Sorry, I scrolled to the right towards the bottom, and the package shawsum is set to nope bucket of nope.
Oh man.
I don't think that's a valid shawsum.
I would be extremely impressed.
Well, it seems like this is one that we probably need to do some investigation on. So I'm going to dump this as well into accepted minor. And let's see. I think that is probably going to be it for this week. We're running right up on time, so we will meet again in a week, in 7 days. Some of us will, anyway. Some of us, I think, are going to be on airplanes that day, but many of us will be here next week. So we'll pick it up where we left off. So thanks everybody for joining in. See y'all later.